Welcome to Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste here in beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania. We're here for round number 4, the championship round of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, where the winner today will be leaving with their Pro Spec license and much more, which we'll get into. I'm Ben Bruno, joined in the booth today. We got a big one back in action here with us with the Great Lakes Pro-Am in the booth. Team Vacation teammate Brian O'Connor, and as always, Zach Snyder. So for round number 4, we have a $1,500 total purse today. The winner today will be walking away not only with their Pro Spec license, but a fire suit from Velocita valued at $800, courtesy of Velocita. And second will be taking $450. And third will be taking home $300. So you can see a good payout here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. The point fund overall winner today, along with that Pro Spec license, will also be taking home $2,500. Second will take home $1,250. Third, $750. Fourth, $500. And fifth, $500. So without further ado, Zach, Brian, how are we doing this morning, guys?
Good morning, Ben. It's a pleasure to be back up here with you and Zach. I know it's been a bit of a hiatus for me, but I'm very happy to be back here at Lake Erie Speedway. Looks like we got a lot of new faces here within the last year. It's pretty crazy. You know, we were out there in the tech barn checking out everyone's cars, and lots of new faces, lots of new builds. Definitely pretty cool to see. Lots of talent out here as always, and I'm looking forward to the round 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do the Canadian National Anthem and the American National Anthem. Please stand, remove your hats, look towards the flags, give these people the respect that they deserve.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming?
Having a small technical difficulty with the United States national anthem. Get it sorted out and get it on here for us at the Speedway.
Oh, say can you see by
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early
The drivers are ready, the tires are mounted, the cars are fueled, and they're down here on track waiting to get to battle here today for the championship round of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Our first driver in the top 16, coming from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, Troy Manners in his Nissan with a Jay-Z under the hood. He is sponsored by ACT, ISR Performance, Huey Brothers, and XXR Wheel. Our second competitor today, coming all the way from Canton, Ohio, Adam Bergner in his 240SX with 4.8-liter LS power under the hood. He is sponsored by Major League Tire, Wilder Drift, and Evolution Transport. From West Falls, New York, in his BMW M3 with supercharged power under the hood, this is Vinny Capola, sponsored by Full Lock Automotive and Performance. Another competitor coming to us from Canton, Ohio, in his 2013 FRS with a supercharged LS under the hood, Elliot Rose. He's sponsored by FabMac, BC Racing, Vibrant Performance, Vortex Superchargers. Coming all the way to us from Syracuse, New York, in his LS-powered BMW E30, this is Mike Samson. In his M52 Turbo E36, coming from North Canton, Ohio, Kevin Ferraro. Sponsored by Wilder Drift. Coming to us from across the lake over in Canada, he's sponsored by FabMac Industries and FDF, Andrew Shorkey. He sits in the second spot in points coming into this championship round from Fremont, Ohio, in his LS-powered 350Z, Casey the Hawk Rodriguez. He's sponsored by Wilder Drift, Tire Stacks, and FabMac Industries. A familiar face here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series from Hanover, New York, in his S50 Turbo M3, Fred Maybach. Taking a loaner car from his good friend Dylan from Lakeview, New York. He's driving the green Mustang here in competition today. This is Matt Monalian. Another competitor coming to us all the way from Syracuse, New York. He switched it up mid-season, coming in with the Corvette. This is Xander Nappy, sponsored by Boost Factory. From Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, in his 335i BMW with N54 power under the hood, this is Steven Ditis. From Chardon, Ohio, in his E46 with turbo M50 NV power under the hood, this is Colin Gillespie of Team Total Loss. He is sponsored by Landglide. From Hamilton, Ontario, in his Toyota JZX with 1.5 JZ power under the hood, this is Ryan Reese. He is sponsored by FabMac Industries, Misfits Drift, Another local competitor here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series coming from Conneautville, Pennsylvania in his LS2 powered 240SX. This is Jordan Becker, sponsored by Wilder Drift, Pure Air Solutions of PA, and Advanced Floor Care. Coming to us from Circleville, Ohio in his 2013 FRS with LS3 power under the hood, this is Andrew Wilder. He's sponsored by Stage, DEI, Sicky, Wilder Drift, and Yellow Speed Racing. As we get ready to get everybody off the track and prepare for war here at Lake Erie Speedway this afternoon, everybody make sure that you get out from back in the pits there. It's a beautiful morning. Get up on that backstretch wall and show your support to these drivers. If you're joining us on Racing America or on the live streams, thanks for joining us. If this is your first round, you're in for a dandy here today, as we will be sending the winner home with their Pro Spec license, a fire suit from Velocita, and a bunch of money on top of it to make that pot even sweeter. Make sure that you grab something to drink, grab yourself a snack, as we've got a couple hours of action coming to you right here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series at Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste. Couple of short things here for you guys. Obviously honored to have Brian O'Connor back in the booth here with us for the championship round. After moving back to Long Island, was able to make the trip back over here to Lake Erie Speedway to join us. We also have a very special guest on the property here at Lake Erie Speedway this weekend. Pro Bowler and Buffalo Bills player Dion Dawkins is in the house. Hopefully we will be able to get him in the booth here in a little bit and talk to Dion about what his journey's been like getting into the NFL, how he got into drifting, all that good stuff. So that'll be a real treat for us. Want to give a shout out to all the homies out at FD Utah right now. Alan Boss in the Yeet teams, Adam Heischman, a former competitor here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Wow, thanks, guys. Fucking hours and hours of commentary, and my voice cracked one time.
All right, as we get these competitors ready to line up here and do our first battle, give a quick rundown of the contingencies for the weekend. Distinct Drift is going to give a tire certificate to the round winner. Contingency Connection top 3 of this round are going to get a coupon discount book worth $4,000. Hawk Performance is going to kick in for the winner of this round a certificate. And obviously Ben mentioned the champion will get a Velocita fire suit. And not to mention, second place will also get half off the purchase of a Velocita fire suit. So lots up to grabs here, not to mention the cash on the table for the contingency for the series and the event. As we get these two guys lined up here, this is going to be Troy Manners and Adam Bergner going to heat the tires up, get this competition started for the day. Had a little bit of weather last night, but the track looks to be pretty dry. The air temperature is not overly warm, so it should be a pretty consistent surface. Just really excited to get this underway and see what these guys got. They all got a chance to run this layout yesterday, a bunch of driving last night, so expecting some really, really tight battles here.
If you're joining us on the live stream or on Racing America, thanks for joining us. Make sure that you give the stream a share. Tag a friend that can't miss out on the action as we send home a Pro Spec license holder here today. And in this first battle, we're going to see the number 1 point sitter currently, Troy Manners, in that JZ-powered S chassis. So getting right to the thick of it in this first battle. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. We love to hear from you guys. We've had people in the comments in the past from different countries, all over the place. So a lot of the FD brothers as well like to hop in and check out the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. So thanks to you guys for joining us as well. Glad that Zach brought up the weather yesterday. It was a beatdown of sun, and the track surface was extremely hot, slippery, and greasy. So we'll see if there's a big change here. We got some rainfall last night, lots of cloud coverage here today. The ambient temperature outside much lower than it was yesterday. So the conditions will most likely be a touch different today.
All right, the lights are on, and they have left the line. Troy Manners going to lead the way here on this first battle. Good initiation there. Right before the 3-2-1 fills all of that first zone. Maybe one tire off there coming out of that zone, but Bergner doing a great job in chase, staying nice and close as they come into two. Bergner going to send it around. Troy Manners unfazed in the lead, running a beautiful lead line. Super unfortunate there for Bergner. And Troy just laying down the smoke show in the lead. And what else can you expect from the points leader here today? Absolutely beautiful, beautiful lead run. Falls out of that last zone a little bit early, but I don't think that's going to matter moving forward.
You hit it on the head there. You hit it on the head there. Manners showing us exactly why he's number 1 in the points. Just so consistent in this JZ-powered S chassis as we take a look at the replay. Filling all of the zones, maybe even a tire off here in outside zone number 2. Just absolutely trying to eliminate that back white line of the zones while putting down the smoke show. Fun little tidbit here for you. Adam Bergner used to be on Troy Manners' crew, so first battle of the day, a couple of brothers going at it here in battle.
All right, we're going to switch him around, and Bergner's going to lead the way, and he has to know now that he has to put on an absolute show in the front to make up for that big mistake there in his chase. Good initiation here, straight line, nice clutch kick in there from Bergner as he sits on the outside of that first zone absolutely beautifully. Good job on the inside clip, keeps all 4 tires inside the track. Doesn't quite get into the beginning of that second outside zone, but he fills the end of it. And Troy in the chase, staying active, but knowing full well that he has a big advantage here. He does not have to push that hard. Bergner comes past that second inside clip right where he needs to be and gets into the beginning of that final outside zone. And that's going to finish it off here for that first battle. Fantastic job there from both of those guys in that second run. Real unfortunate there in that first. As Bergner's going to send it up the bank, he's got to know he's at a big disadvantage here, but good show nonetheless. Great driving from both of these guys. You take a look here at the replay.
Yeah, tough break for Adam in the chase position on the first leg of this one, as on the lead does a beautiful job filling all of outside zones number 1 and 2. Comes up just a touch short on outside 3. And then to that second inner clip, seems like everybody's been doing a really good job on these inner clips so far for round number 4. Finishing out the run strong, as Zach had mentioned. Manners just taking the safe approach in the chase spot. Decision is in. Troy Manners will advance unanimously over Adam Bergner. Up next, we're going to see Vinny Capola in his supercharged BMW E36 in the lead position versus Elliott Rose in the supercharged LS-powered Scion.
Yeah, very interested to see how this plays out because there is a large power gap here between these two guys, but Vinny will get the opportunity to lead first. Coming out of the chute there, you can see big Big handbrake, and Vinny puts a bunch of angle into the car, but maintains it well, falls out of that first outside zone a little early, but makes up for it there on that inside clip. Does not quite get into the beginning of that second outside zone. Elliott pushing hard in the chase, not maybe choking himself out a little bit there. Vinny doing a great job on that third outside zone now as they come past the second inside clip into the final zone. Vinny gets into the zone early and sits the tire on the line all the way through it, and Elliott behind him standing on that LS trying to catch up there.
Take a look at the replay. Nice snappy initiation here from Vinny. Tons of angle into that supercharged BMW. Comes up just a touch short on outside zone number 1. Does a nice job recovering through the inner clip into outside zone number 2 as Elliott begins to apply the proximity into outside zone number 3. Vinny pulls a bit of a gap on him into that second and final inner clip and does a nice job here through that final outer zone as Elliott tries to regain the proximity.
All right. So the lights are on and they are off, and they're going to leave the line here. Elliott Rose going to lead the way here on the second half of this battle. Pulls a 3-car gap there coming into the initiation, but stays within the 3-2-1. Maybe a tire off on that first outside zone. Vinny getting right up next to that Scion as they come into the second outside zone. Elliott puts it into the wall, blows the back bumper off, but stays in it. Vinny not letting him get away. Absolutely beautiful proximity there from the chase driver. Coming past that second inside clip as they come now into this final outside zone. Vinny's going to chop the line a little bit, try to make up some of that proximity. Elliott just sitting on the outside of that final outside zone. Great job from both of these guys. Elliott just a little deep in that second zone, putting it into the wall, ripping the back bumper off the Scion.
The spicy meters climbing early on in this one as Elliott Rose, you can see here in the replay, through the inner clip into outside zone number 2, gets way deep in there, catches the edge of the K-rail, shears the bumper off as it hangs off of the back of the car for the entirety of the rest of the run. Vinny doing a really good job in the chase position, very aggressive. It ends up costing him in a couple spots here during the run, so we'll see how that affects how the judges decide on this one. But taking a look at the side-by-side here, you can see both drivers do a good job through outside zone number 1. And then you can see here again, Vinny does a good job in outside zone number 2. Elliott looks like he goes 2 tires off with putting the back of the car into the K-rail there in outside 2.
Yeah, and you can see on the replay all that powder, all the rubber dust sitting on the inside of those K-rails. If you get into that, it is like driving on just the wettest, grossest surface. It's so bad. I don't know how to describe it. There's no grip to be had, which is you hit the K-rails.
One thing I think I would like to ask, just to kind of fill everyone in the stands, everyone at home that might be curious. I know we started off the day talking about like the big difference in weather. I think we should kind of touch on what changes needs to be made to the car to, I guess, perform better with this weather change. Like, what do you guys think these people are doing to their cars to kind of adapt and overcome with the aggressive changing of weather?
I would have to say that for the situation now, yesterday being so hot, it kind of pulls the tar out of the asphalt in the raceway, and it gets really, really slimy. And just the tire wear alone, with the tires having so much heat in them, sometimes they chunk, they delaminate, the tread just falls off of them. So today, I believe these guys are going to have a better grip surface. They're going to be able to push a lot harder, and it's already showing from the way that we've seen the lead versus chase. Everyone being super aggressive in the chase, and obviously you can see guys pushing these walls. These 2 outside zones here in the middle of the raceway are kind of a pivotal part of this layout. It's going to be basically just who's got the confidence to get in early and stay there. And you can see there from Elliott maybe a little bit of overconfidence costing him that bumper there on that first K-rail. But nonetheless, putting on a show for you guys out here today as we wait for the judges to make a decision here.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I don't know that you want to make any changes to course between yesterday and today. Something that we've seen quite a bit of here this year is guys setting the car up well and not having too much grip in the car, so no need to do too much. Decision is in. We're going to get a one more time battle here between Vinny Capola and Elliott Rose.
And I think that's a good decision. I mean, both of those guys had a couple of mistakes in their lead, a couple of mistakes in their chase, but nonetheless putting it where it needs to be and doing a great job. So we'll give them a chance to run it again and not leave anything up to choice here. And you can see there on the line we're going to have Mike Samson and Kevin Ferraro as they leave the line now. Mike Samson going to lead the way into turn one. Big weight transfer there to get into that first zone. Maintains it all the way through. Fantastic job in the lead, and Kevin Ferraro not letting him get away. Both of these guys super consistent, super aggressive as they come into the second outside zone. Samson in the lead doing a great job. Kevin, though, a car gap, maybe less within the two cars there as they come through the third outside zone. Same situation, Kevin pushing hard in the chase. See what happens in this last outside zone. I can only believe Kevin's going to put it on the door. Absolutely amazing job by both of these guys. Samson laying down the smoke and Kevin sitting it on the door of that E30.
As they come by you to the backstretch and the pit chute there, let them hear you. Absolutely killer driving from both drivers. This is exactly how you want to do it. And now Mike Samson's going to be feeling the pressure in the chase position as Kevin did not let him go. Mike threw down an absolutely beautiful lead run, but Kevin Ferraro will not be denied here throughout the run, just never letting Mike Samson get away in that LS-powered E30. All the way through the final outer zone, there was never really bigger gap than about a half car as we flip them around and send them.
All right, Kevin going to get a chance to lead here. Pulling a two-car gap on Samson to get into that first zone, maybe a two tires off to get in there. Now coming through that first inside clip. Great job by both guys making it work. Samson and transitions a little bit early and gets right on the door of the E36, but Kevin running a beautiful lead line, filling all the zones everywhere he needs to be. Can't say enough about the driving going on here today. Absolutely fantastic job as they come to this outside zone. Kevin gets in early and sits it on the line. Samson, maybe a one-car gap there to finish out the run. Fantastic from both of these guys. I'd have to say that's probably the best battle we've seen all weekend. That was amazing.
Absolutely. I thought that we came to watch drifting here this weekend. Turns out we're playing hide and go seek here today as we see Kevin Ferraro get into outside zone number 2. We're going to see a scrape off the wall. Bam, right there. So hide and seek, he finds it. Into outside zone number 3, using all of it again here in the lead position. Really interesting battle here as both really good leads. Kevin Ferraro, maybe just a bit of a bobble there in outside zone number 1, dropping a tire to potentially. So see, yesterday I talked about the weight that the lead holds for the judges with some of the calls that we saw yesterday. Really good, consistent calls from our judges here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. But so you can see here, I mean, lead for lead, chase for chase, pretty darn close on both sides of it. Maybe just a bit better job by Kevin Ferraro on line in his chase position over Samson. So, I mean, I'm glad I'm not a judge on this one, but I got to feel like the scales might be tipped towards Kevin Ferraro a little bit in this one.
I think this next battle is going to be pretty sweet. We've got Corvette and what is that, an FRS or a BRZ? Same thing, right? Kind of, sort of. So I think this is going to be pretty interesting because I believe Andrew Shorkey probably has a little bit more power, but I know Wilder's got a pretty wicked built car, so it might be closer than I think.
As our good friend Travis likes to call him, the Canadian national treasure, Andrew Shorkey. Love seeing him in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. You've seen this car in other spots, the LZ World Tour, all kinds of different places. a very serious competitor.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this next battle, not to take anything away from Mike Samson and Kevin Ferraro there, but this layout has been very conducive to Andrew Wilder's driving style, and he has progressed so much this year, and he knows that Andrew Shorkey is going to give him a fantastic lead, and he's going to be able to push as hard as he wants to all the way through this run. But Shorkey, never a slouch. The man comes to throw down. That's what he does. He does it best. He's been on a podcast where he said he drives. That's what he does. He drives. He lets Fab Mac build the car out for him, and then he just takes it everywhere he wants. He beats it, and that's what he does.
Give a quick shout out to all the good homies hanging out back there by Mike Samson and Kevin Ferraro. I see Papa Steve back there. We got Brett. Decision is in. Mike Samson gets 2 votes and will advance over Kevin Ferraro. Tough one for the judges to call there, I'm sure. As really hate to see one of those 2 guys go out this early in 16, but certainly putting on a show for you guys at home and you fans and drivers here at the Speedway. Andrew Shorkey in front of Andrew Wilder. Shorkey initiates into outside zone number 1, putting down the smoke trail in front of Andrew Wilder. Falls back about 2 car gaps into outside zone number 2. Shorkey using all of outside zone number 2. Wilder doing everything that he can to keep that car basted to the door of the Corvette. Almost an over rotation from Wilder in outside zone number 3 as Shorkey sets sail into the final outer zone, laying down a textbook lead run, maybe even 1 or 2 tires off coming out of that final outer zone.
Take a look here at the replay, see what all happened in this run. You have Shorkey with this big weight transfer there with a little bit of that handbrake pull just to get the car to rotate. Wilder leaving maybe a 1 or 2 car gap there through outside 1, but here's the spot that I really like to take a look at because Shorkey stays in this second outside zone. Then you can see Wilder here on this transition, just a little bit of an over rotation, has to clutch kick it and dig his way out there. A little bit of a correction. I don't really think he's going to make up that gap the rest of this run. He kind of stays at that like 3 car, can't really make it up. Shorkey, you can see just laying it down, and you can see at the end of that final outside zone, Shorkey at least 1, probably 2 tires off. It looked like the whole rear end of that vet was hanging over the line. So a little bit of a deduction there. We'll see how the judges weigh that, but going to flip him around, and Wilder's going to take his lead.
Andrew Wilder now in front of Andrew Shorkey through the chicane, and they are out to outside zone number 1. Good initiation. Shorkey falling back. Andrew Wilder maybe dropping a tire early, really closing up the proximity in the chase as Shorkey into outside zone number 2. Letting Andrew Wilder know that that Corvette is there to outside zone number 3. Shorkey falls back out of the pocket just a little bit to the second inner clip. Shorkey now lunges forward back to the door of Wilder. Really nice lead run from Wilder there. So again, you know, I think Shorkey's chase was a little bit closer in proximity than what Wilder did, but lead mistakes we've seen cost big.
I'll give you guys a chance to take a look at the replay here, see if we can break some things down. Shorkey getting super aggressive there in the chase, coming out of outside 1 past that inner clip, and maybe just chokes himself out a little bit, but he makes up for it through outside 2, getting right to the door of Andrew Wilder's car. And you can see there Wilder on that transition not quite getting out to outside 3, and Shorkey's got to check up a little bit, and it cost him a couple of cars. And then you can see here in outside 4, Wilder doing a great job sitting that car right on that outside zone, right on the line, but Shorkey not letting him get away. And you can see it there now, unanimous decision. Andrew Shorkey will be moving forward. Great job from both of these guys. Absolutely fantastic driving here today.
Take a quick second here. We can pick the brain of one of our judges, Tony Schmidt. wanted to give some insight as to what it is that they are looking for, lead and chase and all that good stuff, as we've had a couple of big decisions made so far here in our top 16.
So basically, we're just looking for full zone fills. That's about it. Just good commitment in those, and no tires off, no checkups, and just some good, clean racing.
So you heard it here from Tony. They're looking for commitment to the zones. So can see that it'll hold a lot of weight. You know, if things come down tooth for nail here, if the decision needs to be made, who's made the bigger mistakes?
All right, here's this one more time between Vinny and Elliott Rose. Vinny's going to initiate right inside that 3-2-1 and sit it on the outside of that first outside zone, right where he needs to be. Knocks over the cone, takes it out with the front bumper there on that inside clip, but gets into that second outside zone early, rides the wall all the way around. And you can see Elliott, very tight transition, has to check up a little bit, maybe a little bit of a straighten there between 2 and 3. Coming now past that second inner clip into the last outside zone. Elliott's going to lay it on and get right next to the door of that E36. Vinny doing a fantastic job in chase or in lead. And Elliott, nonetheless, that little bit of a mistake there in the middle of the track, but we'll see how it plays out moving forward. Going to let Elliott give him a chance to answer back.
Yeah, taking a look at the replay here, you can see a good start to this run for Vinny in that lead position with Elliott in tow. And then right here between 2 and 3, real aggressive transition from Elliott. Does not completely straighten in that mistake there. You can see aggressiveness comes with a big reward, but it can also come with a big cost, as it did there for Elliott Rose. As we flip them around, now Elliott Rose in front of Vinny Capola.
All right, they've left the line. Elliott now in lead. Good initiation there. Straight line with a handbrake pull. Maybe sitting a tire over that line on that first outside zone as they come through that first inner clip. Good job from both guys. Coming into the second outside zone, Elliott going to stand on it, smoke out that whole second zone. Now into the third, you can see the left foot brake there from Elliott Rose to get the car to settle. Vinny not letting him get away. Staying 1 to maybe 2 cars back. Elliott's going to pull a gap there with that horsepower advantage coming through that second inner clip. In just a little wide there to finish out that final outside zone is Rose, but Vinny doing a great job with the BMW and chase there, not letting the big power LS get away.
Taking a look at the replay, really good job from Elliott Rose all the way here into this second outer zone, comes up just a touch short and then puts the skinny pedal to the floor. Doing a great job on all of outside zone number 3 to the second inner clip and all the way out through that final outer zone, maybe even dropping. Yeah, it looks like drop 2 tires on the way out there for Elliott Rose.
And you can see here, as Tony was talking about, one of the judges that had the mic earlier, the commitment that was discussed is like this first outside zone, obviously there's nothing really to punish you for going too wide or making big mistakes. But here you can see the commitment you need to come through that inner clip into that second outside zone to sit on that K-rail and stay in the zone. There's maybe a foot and a half between the outside of that zone and the wall. And both these guys doing a very, very good job getting out there. Elliott just a little bit more shallow in his lead, but give you guys a chance to take a look at the comparison as the judges try to make a decision here on this battle.
So take a quick second, shout out everybody that makes this possible for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series here at Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste. Of course, Pro Waste for supporting Lake Erie Speedway. Decision is in. Vinny Capola will advance unanimously over Elliott Rose into the top 8. So Pro Waste for making everything possible for us here at Lake Erie Speedway. Distinct Drift for coming on board and helping support the drivers. Velocita for providing a race suit to the winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And of course, none of this could be done without the help of Formula Drift sanctioning the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, providing a Pro-Spec license to the winner. Casey Rodriguez out front of Fred Maybach. Casey Rodriguez currently sitting second in points as Fred applies the pressure through outside zone number 1 into outside zone number 2. Fred's not going anywhere. Knock, knock. I'm here. Outside zone 2. Casey Rodriguez into outside zone number 3. Absolutely textbook job in the lead here from Casey Rodriguez so far. Fred gets the 4-ways tapped on here mid-run, as that thing is a full street car, really. Fred absolutely throwing it down in the chase position.
Yeah, I had assumed when these two pulled up to the line this was going to be a barn burner of a battle, and they did not disappoint at all. You can see Casey out front here doing an absolutely phenomenal job in that lead line, and Fred, one of the most aggressive chase drivers on the property that I've ever seen in general, not letting him get an inch in otherwise. You can see the little tap there just to let Casey know he is here and he is not going anywhere. Fantastic job through both those outside zones now as you can see them come across that inner clip. Fred falls back just a little bit to give Casey the room to transition and then jumps right back to the door of that Z all the way through that final zone. Casey pouring on the throttle, all the smoke, all the angle, and Fred doing a fantastic job doing everything he needs to do in chase.
And they're off. Fred Maybach in front of Casey Rodriguez initiates into outside zone number 1, right on that outside white line of outside zone number 1. Casey trying to apply the pressure into outside zone number 2. He's right there against the door of that BMW of Fred Maybach. Fred doing a beautiful job in the lead. Casey pasting the 350Z to the door of the BMW into the final outer zone. Fred maybe dropping a tire early on in this one and then gathering it back in. Absolutely killer driving from both of these guys. Lake Erie Speedway, give these guys a hand.
That was a wicked run by both drivers. So, Ben, I'm looking at the weather here. We are expected to have some rainy conditions here at 12, if it is accurate. But you never know. You know, these weathermen are paid to, assume, and usually they're wrong. So hopefully they are wrong. But it will be very interesting to see if the track. It will be very interesting to see if the track gets a little wet. Especially later here in the competition, how that's going to change it up for everyone else. I know earlier we were talking about generally they set the car up for the one condition when they do practice and try to leave it pretty consistent. But, I know with my car with rain, usually I have to change tire pressures, stuff like that. So it will be very interesting because it's good to change the whole dynamic of everything. It's not going to be dry, consistent. It's going to be wetter in certain spots. So we'll have to see how that changes everything up if it does, in fact, rain here today.
You can see here on this side-by-side, these, lead for lead, chase for chase, nothing can be said. They are absolutely almost identical. Fred maybe making a little bit of a mistake there on that transition coming from outside 2 through that inner clip, but yeah, the proximity from both drivers in chase and the leads that they provided for the chase drivers, absolutely picture perfect all the way across the board. But as Brian was saying, if you look out now, if you're on the property, if you take a look at the sky, we do have some cloud cover rolling in. And obviously the lake being just north of us, the weather can change at a moment's notice. And I know we were expecting some rain here today. Hope it holds out, but, if it doesn't, just kind of slows everything down a little bit. The guys are going to have to put a bunch of grip in the cars and hope they can make something work. This layout, treacherous if you do not have grip. There's a lot of commitment necessary for these second 2 outside zones here in the middle of the track, and if you don't have a way to make it work, you're going to struggle. And you can see there on the screen, Fred Maybach going to take it unanimously over Casey Rodriguez, knocking out the number 2 points holder here in the series. Absolutely amazing job from both of these guys. Do not take anything away from them.
Let's take a quick moment here. Hear from good friend of Fred Maybach, Taylor Braun, up here in the booth with us as we take a look at Matt Monalian borrowing the V8-powered Mustang of Dylan Weber to compete here today. He will be in the lead position in front of Xander Nappy.
This is a pure example of talent here. You take someone out of their normal car, put them into another car, and they still absolutely rip. I'm going to hand the mic over to Taylor here. Taylor, thanks for joining us today.
Matt Monalian in the green Mustang out in front of Xander Nappy, comes up just a little bit short on outside zone number 1. Yesterday was the first time Fred had driven this car as Xander almost goes around behind Matt Monalian into outside zone number 3. You can see Matt a little bit timid with the lack of seat time in this car as he is an absolute shredder. There's no doubt about it. Does a really nice job through that final outside zone. But real quick here, we got Taylor Braun of Limp Brisket up in the booth, the protector of Boar's Head meat. But Fred, you were talking about Fred, and just kind of talk about what you were saying to me there.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Just happy to be a part of it. Glad to be involved. Just hope everyone has fun. But yeah, that battle with Casey and Fred. I mean, that's the driving we've all come to expect from Fred. That's Fred's standard operating procedure. He's close proximity, put it on your door, and he's going to pressure you the whole run. And he was able to do that and also lay down an absolute heater of a run. But here we go, back to Nappy and Monalian battle.
So Xander Nappy out front now of Matt Monalian. Xander initiates into outside zone number 1, does a really nice job using all of outside zone number 1. Has the top off the Corvette. Interesting choice here given the weather today. Little bit of a bobble in the lead position from Xander in outside zone number 2. Completely misses outside zone number 3 in the lead. Matt doing a good job of mimicking this lead that Xander's giving him. Through outside zone number 4. Does a really nice job. So Xander's still getting acclimated to the new chassis as Matt Monalian making some of his first laps in this Mustang chassis of Dylan Weber.
Yeah, not enough can be said here about Monalian to jump in a completely alien chassis. I don't think I've ever seen him drive a Mustang ever. He's always been in a Z, and to get in it and do this well here in a competition setting is just, it's phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, shout out to Dylan, too, for his very last minute. Me and Matt were going to share my car this round, but Dylan offered his up, 10 minutes before Matt pulled in the parking lot, and we were able to get it teched. And Matt's settling into that car real well. It's not a handful to drive, but it's a little outgunned against some of these cars on this layout. But, Matt knows low-power drifting. In that stock Z, he could run anybody's door in. He's doing a great job. I didn't realize Dylan was right there. Oh, boy.
Dylan taking exception to his low-power Mustang.
Not to take anything away from Matt here, but, what a friend Dylan Weber is to just lend his car out in a competition setting where, anything could happen. You touch a K-rail, you end up cartwheeling another man's car down the wall, and it happens. We've all done it. Anyone who's competed in this sport or even just driven at events, we've all sent a chassis to heaven at one point in time or another. We're all trying to keep the same 10-year chassis together and make everything work.
Putting out the search party. We're looking for Dion Dawkins. If you've seen Dion, make sure you send him up to the booth. We need to talk to Dion. Again, Dion Dawkins, Pro Bowler for the Buffalo Bills, on the property this weekend here. He is drifting, so getting his feet wet and drifting. Definitely want to talk to him about his journey.
All right, give you guys a chance to take a look at this side by side here and see what the judges kind of feeling about this battle.
Things starting to look a little bit different here at the Speedway. This weather's really evolving on us quick. We've had a lot of cloud coverage so far this morning, but starting to look a good bit darker as we might start to get some precipitation. I think it was Brian brought up, what happens when that happens, right? It's a whole new ball game. We haven't seen any wet laps yet here on this layout this weekend. The infield of the Speedway, that water distributes a little bit different with, a little bit of a, not a ditch, but, a center point. Decision is in. Xander Nappy will advance unanimously over Matt Monalian. But all the water drains down to the center of the infield and then runs left or right to drains that are by the media boxes. So conditions there in the center of the track relatively inconsistent.
Yeah, and another thing to mention here that doesn't get brought up much, but this Speedway, the infield is new pavement and the outside ring is older pavement, and it is a massive change in the wet. As we take a chance here to look at Steven Ditis in the lead in that N54 powered car versus Colin Gillespie in the Turbo E46. Colin getting very, very shallow in that first outside zone and then straightens up and shuts it down in that first inside clip. Steven going to send the rest of the run. Just has to finish it out now. And you can see great lead line nonetheless. I mean, filling all the zones everywhere he needs to be. Coming past that second inside clip now to get into that final outside zone. And you can hear that car just screaming there. He shuts it down as well. Not really sure what happened. Maybe a mechanical issue there from Ditis in the lead. And this is shaping up to be very interesting now moving forward.
We'll take a look at the replay. Maybe at the end there we might be able to slow things down for you a little bit, see if Steven Ditis shuts it down before the end of the run. As you can see, this car is an absolute shredder. So is Ditis as the driver of it. Thing just pours smoke, tons of angle all the way through the run here through outside zone number 3. And then if we can we stop the replay here in just a second? Right here. You're going to see right here. Oh, it's really, really, really close as the front tires come over that final finish line there. Ditis starts to shut it down. Maybe a complete straighten, so could potentially be 2 incompletes on the first half of this one.
Nonetheless, we'll switch them around, give Colin a chance to lead. And it seems like the car is running good. Everything seems healthy, nice and fast there out of the chute into that first outside zone. Coming now for that first inside clip. Great job by both guys now. Getting into that second outside zone nice and early and sitting in it all the way around. Great job there in the lead by Colin. Now coming to that the third outside zone. Another fantastic line all the way through that third turn. Coming down to the final outside zone. Gets into it early and stays in it. It's just sitting on that outside line. Great job there in the lead. Unfortunate first half of this battle, but the second half absolutely showing out for both of these guys. Great job on both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah, really interesting. We'll see how the judges look at Ditis in his lead run at the end of the run, but Colin Gillespie absolutely throwing it down here on his lead run. Oh, what's that? We have a hide-and-seek champion? I want the belt. There's the barrier. Into outside zone number 3, trying to find it yet again. Into the second and final inner clip into the final outer zone. Really killer job. We might see. This one could be really, really interesting, you know. Colin had to shut it down in his lead, and he might be able to advance on out of this one if the judges see, you know, Ditis as incomplete there on the lead.
Yeah, I would hate for it to be a situation where, you know, Ditis came into that last outside zone and saw Colin in the return lane and didn't think he had to complete that run. But if you are in the lead and the chase driver zeros, it is still your job to finish that lap. Whereas if the situation is flipped and you are in the chase and the lead driver zeros, it's no longer a valid battle. But you can see here now, Colin, that lead line is absolutely perfect. I mean, everywhere he needs to be, hitting all the marks. Ditis in the chase doing a great job. Maybe one tire off there by Colin in that final outside zone. Really interested to see what transpires here with the judges. And they are going to send them again. You can see on the screen one more time. Give these guys a chance to make up for that first half of the battle and just, you know, clean up everything and get it a fair chance.
Things are heating up here in the action in top 16 as we're going to get another one more time battle.
On the line now, you can see Ryan Reese coming from Canada in that JZX, always a showman. Absolutely fantastic driver here. And Jordan Becker in that LSS 14, no slouch either here as they leave the line. Ryan Reese going to lead the way into turn one. Good initiation by both drivers there. Reese, you can see just laying down the smoke line in the lead. And you can hear that JZ, that crazy rev limiter, that backfire he has. Absolutely fantastic job through outside two. Jordan Becker not letting him get away at all as Reese gets into that third outside zone. Becker doing a great job in the chase, staying within a car all the way through. Now for this final outside zone, Reese gets in early and just stands on it, laying down the smoke line, all the angle, and he drops a tire or two there at the end, puts a bunch of angle into the car and tries to save it.
Yeah, big point of contention for me in this one is going to be that outside zone from lead driver Ryan Reese as we take a look at the replay. Absolutely killer job all the way through into outside zone number 2, using every bit of that zone, doesn't drop any tires as Becker has to take line away from the car to close up on the proximity back to the door of that JZ-powered JZX. And then right here, I'm pretty sure for a good portion of that final outer zone, Reese was tires out and then got back into the zone and then lost 2 more on the way out.
And that is that same situation there in that final outside zone. If you get outside that line, you're in those rubber marbles, and there is just no grip to be had. You are ice skating at that point. As we watch Jordan Becker now in the lead, sitting it on the outside of that first outside zone. Great job by both guys as they come through that inner clip. Now into outside zone number 2, Becker gets in early, but Reese not letting him get away at all within a car of Becker all the way through that second zone. Now into the third, Becker does a great job getting out there, and Reese maintaining that line and chase. Fantastic job here. And you can see now into this final outside zone, Becker gets in early and stays in it all the way through. Reese doing a great job matching angle, staying in proximity the whole way through. As you can see Becker slapping the roof. He is happy about that run.
Yeah, absolutely killer driving on both ends of this one. Becker out front of Reese. Reese applying the pressure all the way through outside zone number 1. You can see nice transition into outside zone number 2. Becker using all of outside zone number 2 as Reese nearly puts a tire to the door of the white S chassis. To outside zone number 3. Oh yeah, there's black all over the door here. So Reese putting tire to the S chassis of Jordan Becker into outside zone number 4. Decision is in. Ryan Reese will advance unanimously over Jordan Becker into the top 8. Everybody grab a drink, grab some popcorn, use the restroom. We're going to take a word from our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Safety, comfort, and value is what we deliver with premium motorsports apparel from Velocita USA. We're here for you, the diehard blood, sweat, and tears race teams, putting on a show today. For your next fire suit, helmet, racing shoes, or gloves, give Velocita a call at 336-764-8502 or shop online at velocita-usa.com. And remember, drive fast and take chances.
Which dealership was named Best Certified Pre-Owned Program by IntelliChoice? Dave Holman Hyundai. And that has everything to do about the quality and reliability of our certified used vehicles. More newer models with less mileage. Plus our 173-point inspection, free Carfax, Sirius XM, and more. Plus great warranty coverage. Hyundai Certified Used Vehicle Powertrain Limited Warranty. 10-year, 100,000 miles. That's up to 4 years longer than the other brands. And the balance of the original 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Get to Dave Holman Hyundai.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here.
I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushkin.
I'm Matt Field.
I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver. Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it.
Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
All right, welcome back here to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. You can see there on that wall the www.lakeeriespeedway.com and all the social media.
All right, so what we're getting back to here is going to be the one more time battle between Ditis and Gillespie. Just wanted to take a quick look at the live stream chats. Thanks for everybody that's joining us. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. Has LZ gone yet?
All right, and this lined up now is going to be the one more time battle here between Colin Gillespie and Steven Ditis. Great job by both of these guys in the second half of that battle. The first half, a little bit unfortunate there for both. Not really sure what happened, but we're going to give them a chance to run it back and see what they can do.
Ditis in front of Gillespie. Gillespie, really aggressive initiation, trying to put the door of the BMW up against Ditis's into outside zone number 2. Ditis doing a really nice job in the lead. Colin just a touch wide in outside zone number 2, sets him back just a little bit. Ditis using all of outside zone number 3 for everything it's worth to the inner clip, into the final outer zone. Absolutely killer lead run as he pours the smoke off of that N54 powered BMW.
All right, you can see here on the replay, Steven Ditis going to lead the way through outside 1 into that first inner clip into outside 2, using up all the real estate necessary there, filling all of those zones. Colin in the chase, not giving him an inch anywhere, sticking to the side of that BMW. As they come down through this inner clip, you can see great job from both guys getting nice and tight to that cone and then now into that final outside zone. And you can see the smoke just pouring off the back of Ditis' car as he stands on it all the way through that final outside zone.
So once we get through the second leg of this one, I know we got to keep the action rolling, but We did just get Dion Dawkins up here in the booth again. I hope you know who he is. You should know who he is. Pro Bowler for the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely honored to have him here at the Speedway this weekend. Colin Gillespie out front of Steven Ditis through outside zone number 1. Colin just a little bit wide, maybe dropping a tire. Has to get woed up for outside zone number 2. Really snappy transition. Both drivers real wide, almost making contact with the jersey barrier. Into outside zone number 3. Ditis begins to apply the pressure to the total loss BMW of Colin Gillespie. Finishing out the run, Colin comes up just a touch shy on that final outer zone, sliding into it a little bit later on in the zone as Ditis applies pressure. All right, so while we have a quick second as the judges deliberate on this one, Dion Dawkins in the booth with us here at Lake Erie Speedway for the championship round of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Dion, I got to ask you, what's it like having obtained your goal? You're in the league. What was the road like to get there?
Well, overall, I mean, the road was definitely hard. It was bumpy. It was a lot of obstacle courses like this one. And you have to maneuver. I think that the biggest part about it is you have to be able to pivot and be aware of drastic change. Like I had to go to prep school. My grades weren't right. Then I had to go to school. And then I got, and then it was just a bunch of different directions then to get on the path that I'm on now. And but I'm here. I'm thankful and I'm blessed.
So one thing that I want to know is obviously, you work so hard. You spend your whole life playing football. You get into the NFL. You do the whole thing. How'd you get here?
I mean, well, yo, you're sick, bro. I mean, everybody has to drive a car at some day, right? So it's either you want to drive drift cars, you want to try to squeeze in an Indy car, or you want to drive a minivan. And I said, yeah, you know what? Let's spin the tires. So, Big Indian, Eric, the guy Tony, they introduced me to it at a Big Indian Drift Pit in Erie, and I didn't know that it was there. I've been in Buffalo for 8 years, and I didn't know that it was there. And I got introduced to it, and once I seen it, I said, bro, this is where my heart is. And then I got a car literally 2 days later, and then I've just been adding to it ever since. And I'm here, and I'm going to be at these events and all over the country, and I love it.
Yeah, tell the people about what you're driving as we take a look at the booth cam. Dion Dawkins, Zach Snyder up in the booth. I got my goofy mustache going on for you guys. But so tell us about your car and how you got that.
Yeah, man. It's a LS1 supercharged BMW, and it's my kid. It is literally my baby. It was born and it was birthed and it talks. It talks, It has a couple of problems like they all do. I'm still like learning the car, a little bit of nicks and a little bit of things. It always changes up on me every day in which I'm learning, but just like kids. So I treat my car like it is. I'm happy about it. And I'm probably like going to get a nice little collection, as in like looking at these cars now. Like some of these guys have some rippers. So, I'm definitely trying to be in the big boys club, but I respect it. I got to work my way up, and I'm going to walk my baby till a grown baby.
That's awesome.
Very, very humble about the build there. For the guys who are on the property that know about like building a big power car, this is a supercharged LS swapped E46. Like rear mount radiator, like all the fixings. It's prepped and ready to go to be essentially what is like a pro chassis.
Maybe one day we'll see you in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
Nah, you will. I want to be in there now. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, bro, I could get in my car and do it right now. But, I don't want to underestimate it. But, like, these guys are at a different level, and I just got to keep working. It's just like practice with the Bills. Like, you just got to just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. We all want to win. We all want to win now, but it takes time. So I respect it. I respect the drivers, and I'm a little guy to these big guys. So I salute, and I'm honored to be here.
Decision is in. It was split with a one more time, so we will get a second one more time between Steven Ditis and Colin Gillespie. The next battle is lined up, and then we'll get back to asking Dion some more questions. Mike Samson in the LS-powered E30 in the lead position with Andrew Shorkey and Chase. These two, maybe, I know that we've got a stout field, but maybe two of the stoutest that the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series has to offer.
You can see here Samson going to lead the way. Shorkey, super aggressive chase driver. Mike Samson, amazing lead. Fills all of outside zone 1. Shorkey not giving him an inch anywhere as they come past that first inside clip. Now into the second outside zone. Samson gets in early and rides the wall all the way around. Shorkey has to pull the handbrake to block it up a little bit before he puts it into the side of the E30. That third outside zone, great job by both guys now coming into this final zone. Samson maybe pulls a car and a half, but Shorkey reels them back in as they come past the finish of that run. Absolute smoke show from both guys. Amazing driving on both sides.
Dion says we got some rippers out here right now, that's for sure. As we take a look at the replay, Mike Samson, as we've seen in his other battles yesterday and today, absolutely textbook lead run from Mike Samson in the LS-powered E30. Andrew Shorkey putting on a show for everybody, putting the wheel of that C5 Corvette to the door of the E30 all the way through the lap. You can tell Shorkey's got a good amount of grip in the car here today, as every time he gets on throttle, he begins to drive up the door of Mike Samson.
And you can see the lights go off now. Shorkey going to lead the way from Mike Samson. Samson staying nice and tight to the side of that Corvette all the way through that initiation now as they come through outside 1. Shorkey comes out of the zone a little bit early, but good transition through that first inside clip now into the second outside zone. Mike Samson putting it to the side of the Vette all the way through. Third outside zone. Shorkey comes up a little bit shallow there. It gives Samson the chance to sneak up on the side of that Vette. Now for the final outside zone, you can see the smoke rolling off the back of Shorkey. Samson gets a little aggressive, goes wheel to wheel there with Shorkey and sends it around. Super unfortunate there. But in the lead, I did see it seemed like Shorkey maybe checked up coming into that final outside zone. Not sure if he had an issue they had to correct, but Samson puts it into the rear wheel of the Vette and spins it out.
Yeah, got to figure Mike knew he had to be aggressive here on Shorkey. Shorkey's going to throw down a good lead every time, so we'll see in the replay here about going into that last outer zone as Mike Samson just basting that black E30 to the door of the Misfits C5. To the inner clip here, we'll see car gets rotated. It does get woed up, maybe even a little bit of over row for Shorkey in the lead going into that last outer zone. See how the judges feel about that one. While we take a look at the side-by-side, we'll get back to Dion. Dion, let's move over to Bill's Mafia. What does Bill's Mafia have to look forward here for the season? You guys are getting ready to go here in the next couple weeks, and as you know, this close to Buffalo and Erie, there's tons of Buffalo Bills fans here. I'm sure there's tons on the property and tons watching at home.
Yeah, I would say overall, the Mafia stays strong. Like, we have a lot of different personalities like on the team. Our team is not drastically different, but it's different. So we're all trying to figure out what our identity is going to be because we have so many different pieces. Like, I know that we seen the moving pieces like, oh, Stefan's not here, and Poyer's not here, and Mike is not here, and Tremaine, and all of these different guys that were household names. And I think that when the season starts, you get a lot of younger guys. We have to get into battle to really see what we are. Like, I can sit here and I can talk about, oh, we got the best team in the world. We do have the best team in the world, but our team still has to show who they are. It's almost like having LeBron James without a jersey on, and then, all right, put that jersey on him, and now he has his name to represent the player.
So you talk about the personalities. Who's your favorite couple guys in the locker room?
Oh, man. I would say that my favorite, of course, is Josh. Josh, I call him Scallion. because he's a stallion, which is a horse, and then he's just Scally, which is Josh Scally. And Keon is a riot. Jamarcus Ingram is by far my favorite. He's one of my young guys. I treat him like my brother. He was here yesterday. He had to peel off and get back in Buffalo, but there's a lot of good dudes. But I would say Josh, Keon, and Jamarcus.
Sweet.
So if you're a member of the Bills family, you now know where Dion puts his cards, just so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
He's picking favorites in the family now.
Yeah, yes, I am.
Who's the toughest guy in the league to play against that you've played against?
Man, what a question. I've played against a lot, bro. But I would say out of respect, I would have to give the respect to Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett is a freak show. He literally is a freak show. He's 6'6.5", 6'7", whatever he is, maybe 285 pounds. Just a brick, man, and he's speed. So he's fast, he has strength, he has skill. And as an offensive player, like, if you could think about what we do for a living, like, I play backwards all game while everyone else plays forward. So I have to be the best athlete on the field playing backwards while everybody has to be the best athlete playing forward. On a daily basis, you're walking forward all day long, so you're sharpening those tools without even thinking about sharpening them. Me, on the other hand, I sharpen my tools when I'm on the football field. So Myles tests me the most, and I would also say Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. And both of them, they bring it every play, every rep, and I salute them because they play the game the right way.
Well, you heard it here, and we can get back to some more action here on track. Steven Ditis now in front of Colin Gillespie yet again for this second one-more-time battle. Gillespie applying the pressure right to the wheel of Ditis in outside zone number 1. Good transition into outside zone number 2. Ditis really deep, dropping a tire out of outside zone number 2. Gillespie continues to apply the pressure, cuts the line just a little bit in outside 3, putting that total loss BMW to the door. Final outer zone, Ditis laying down the smoke screen yet again, repainting that outside white line. Absolutely killer lead for Steven Ditis.
And you can see that on the replay coming through that first outside zone, Colin within a tire width of Ditis all the way through, and now into outside 2. Ditis fills all that zone, maybe even drops a tire going a little bit deep, which is crazy because you're right against the barriers all the way through. Insane commitment from both guys here coming through this third outside zone as well. Ditis fills all the zone, and now they come across that inside clip into the final zone. You can see just the amount of wheel speed coming off of that lead car, absolutely blowing the tires off, but it does fantastic. Holds that outside zone all the way through, gives Gillespie an amazing chase, or Gillespie gives an amazing chase there on the end.
I'd like to mention, too, I noticed at the tail end of the replay there, Ditis did drop at least one tire coming out of that final outside zone. So really good front-to-back battle on the first leg of this one between Gillespie and Ditis. Now we'll flip them around. Colin Gillespie will be out front. If the second leg of this shapes up anything like the first two battles between these two, we very well could be seeing another one-more-time battle. Neither of these drivers have made big mistakes to this point. Lights are on, lights are out. Gillespie of Team Total Loss in front of Steven Ditis initiates into outside zone number 1. A little bit wide on outside zone number 1. Gillespie dropping a tire. Ditis doing a good job in mimic of this lead run so far into outside zone number 2. Really good job. Oh, Ditis has to get checked up as he gets a little bit too close in transition to outside zone number 3. Gillespie doing a really good job here in the lead run to that final outside zone. Ditis loses a one-car disadvantage to Gillespie on the way out of that final outside zone.
Give you guys a chance to take a look at the replay here and break this down. Good initiation there from both drivers. Colin maybe laying a tire over that line, but Ditis and Chase doing a great job. He will not be punished for dropping a tire. He is just following the line he's given here. Gillespie fills all of that second zone, and now they transition into third. You can see that little checkup there from Ditis and the Chase. Just has to give the E46 the space to move into that third zone. And now you can see into this final outside zone, Colin puts the pedal down and pulls a one-car gap and maintains it to finish out the run. Absolutely amazing job by both guys here. This is the judges now requesting a side-by-side to try and make some kind of decision here between these two guys.
So back up in the booth again with Dion. We heard about who his favorite guys in the room are. We heard about who the toughest guys to play against are. You mentioned Miles Garrett. He's an absolute dog. His decision comes in splitting hairs in the third battle between Gillespie and Ditis. Ditis will advance unanimously over Colin Gillespie. So we've heard a lot of really good stuff from Dion Dawkins so far. I mean, I'm sure it's gotta be somewhat tiring, you know, living the limelight, pro football player. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody wants a picture, you know, when you're out in public, all that good stuff. You know, I been at the Buffalo Mall, saw Brian Giunta up at the mall. So, you know, I know you guys get out around town and stuff. So what's it like being Dion, man? Like, where'd you grow up? You know, who's the most influential people in your life? Who's really helped you get to this point, Dion?
Well, Dion Dawkins is from a town in Jersey, Rahway, North Jersey, and there's a lot of influential people in my life. I try to keep a lot of people around that better me as I will better them. I like to give people the opportunity to grow. I like to show people that you can do whatever you want to do. I think that one of the best parts about being Dion Dawkins is I get to interact with people and I get to show them that I'm just as normal as them. You know, a lot of people come up and they're like, oh man, like, yo, you're so dope, like you're so humble. And I'm like, bro, I am just a regular dude. And, you know, people are literally whatever pedestal you put them on. Like, I am so normal that I'm just a dude. But people put me on this pedestal because of football and some of the things that I do. And it's cool and I'm honored. I do understand that, yes, it is different, but I'm just a regular dude, bro, that's out here ripping tires and just like y'all. But I think that I would say one of the cooler things about being me is I can put my mind to something and I can do it. Like I said that I love this drifting stuff. I love cars, and I said I'm going to make myself a motorsport team. So now I have Snow Motorsports. Snow Motorsports is born, it's here, and it's a real thing. And, you know, I'm just doing my part to just be Dion Dawkins, the driver, instead of Dion Dawkins, the football player, which I don't know if it could ever separate, but I try to think so, you know, but it's pretty dope.
I'll tell you, Dion, I mean, the drift community is really unique, and I think in these kind of spaces, you can just be Dion, man. Like, you know, we were hanging out in the barn last night, man. I didn't see anybody really running up to you like, oh my God, it's Dion, you know. And so I think you found a really good spot with it's, what is it? Snow, S-H-N-O-W, and then Motorsports, Snow. Snow Motorsports. I am Snow. Yeah. You found the right spot to be just Dion. So we're. So we're going to take a quick second here, steal the mic from Dion, hand it on down to the judges. They're going to elaborate real quick for us on the decision that was made between Mike Samson and Shorkey. So we have AJ Popovich.
Yeah, so going back to the Shorkey versus Samson battle, basically what we seen going into outer four was there was a wavering from Shorkey at the beginning of the zone, which caused like a little bit of a slowdown, and that slowdown caused Sams to spin. So looking at the rest of the run, we decided that Sams had a better battle, and the spin was caused by an error in the lead, if you will.
So there you have it from AJ Popovich. Things getting hot here in top 16 action. Up next, we're going to have Fred Maybach out front of Xander Nappy. If you have any questions for Dion, make sure you drop them in the comments. We'll answer some questions, whether it's drifting or football. Fred Maybach initiates an outside zone one. Nappy with a really aggressive initiation, falls back a little bit here into the first outer clip. Into outside zone number two, Fred pulling a two-car advantage over Nappy. Fred has that BMW on kill here today in round number 4, absolutely throwing it down smooth and fast in the turbo BMW.
Yeah, killer lead run there from Fred all the way through. Xander doing a great job there in chase, maybe just losing a car or two there to finish out the run.
I do this for
Pro Bowl. Like football is just like for fun for you, Doc. Lights go out. Xander Nappy now in front of Fred Maybach. Nappy through the inner clip into outside zone number 2. Fred applying the pressure to the door of the blue Corvette. Oh, in transition, Fred almost contact to Nappy again. Now laying the tire mark to the wheel of Xander Nappy. Final outer zone. Fred falls back a 2-car gap to Nappy. My apologies during that call if it was a little bit noisy in here. It's we're just uncovering some real crazy stuff, so.
awesome. But the crazy thing. I'm the co-commissioner of the.
God. So, Dion Dawkins plays football for fun, guys. That's what was going on up here, was some discovery of Dion Dawkins just being an absolute savage. He's like, I'm a pro bowler. And obviously, you know, he's a pro bowler, not a pro bowler. But so he is a professional cornhole player, and you know, if you want to go ahead and mic up on what you were saying there, you're the co-commissioner of the professional cornhole league. Decision comes in. Fred Maybach will advance over Xander Nappy. And I'm just floored over here. Dion Dawkins plays football like as a side fun.
Yeah, Dion just let us know that he's attempting to get cornhole made into an Olympic sport, which I support. I mean, if curling can do it, why not? Yeah.
So if you have any questions for Dion, drop them. Best time to get those in is little times like this. We got a short break here as we're getting ready. So, Dion, going back to just being Dion, who does Dion fanboy over? Is there a musician? Is there a motorsports person? Is there somebody that you're like, man, I would love to meet that person or hang out with that person?
Man, that's a good question, bro. I'm pretty spoiled. Like, I done met a lot of people, bro. I done been around a lot. I done seen a lot. I would say truly, you know, like Jay-Z was really one of the dopest. Like, it was just like, wow, like that's Jay-Z, right? But I think if still alive, the person that I would fanboy over the most is probably Michael Jackson or even Whitney Houston. But Michael Jackson, I probably would literally just give him a hug. And be like, bro, you're the dopest. Like, you're the dopest. But I would say MJ, bro, the king, man, MJ.
Sweet, sweet. So you got Snow Motorsports. What's kind of your outlook on Snow Motorsports, your goals and what you want to do with Snow Motorsports? Is it just drifting, or is it, you know, you want to venture into other stuff too? And you know, what's the goals there?
Well, it was kind of inspired because, like, I'm a part of, like, the Andretti team with IndyCar, and with seeing how they have all of their stuff with their drivers and Colton Herta and all of these cool different aspects of it, like where they travel and they go to all these events and the drivers are pushed and they have to train and all of this stuff. I wouldn't mind having drivers. Like, I would not mind having drivers. I would not mind supporting drivers. Like I understand how expensive this stuff can get and what talent is out there that some people can't even show because of the lack of funds. So even with having drivers and putting snow on these cars and letting people rip, I'm for that. I'm for having a team. I'm for having a whole motorsport team pulling up to events and like this with the big RVs and the big, you know, trailers and just showing the world that Snow and Motorsports has some of the best drivers in the world. And I really just want to put a light on this because, like, yo, this is a skill. This is a real skill. And as being a football player, like, you have to have skill to be a football player. But you have to have skill not to touch that wall. And, you know, I honestly like touching the wall at the big Indian pit. But to do it the right way and to finish and get your points and to qualify and do, like, all that stuff, you have to be on point all the time. And I look at these drivers like how I look at my teammates. Like, you have to go out there and you put on a show. Like, these guys put their money, their hard-earned money into these cars, and now they're about to rip and put on a show in front of the people that's watching. So they have to do it. We, like, have to do it no matter what the stage is, no matter if there's one person watching or 100,000. This is entertainment, and this is people doing what they do in front of people with the anxiety and the nerves. This is the same thing.
Very well said. As we see Ryan Reese in his JZX out front of Steven Ditis. Interesting event here on initiation. We'll take a look at that in the replay as Ditis gets it back together and nearly makes contact with Reese in outside zone number 2. Able to avoid it. Reese coming up a little bit short on outside 3, sliding into the zone a little bit late. And Ditis surges forward in this final outer zone, back up to the door of Ryan Reese.
And as Ben said, they're eager to see this replay. There's a little bit of something funny happened. I think Ditis maybe just getting a little bit overzealous there, not quite getting to angle and has to back out of it to avoid hitting the back of that JZX of Ryan Reese. And now you can see that crazy transition there from Ditis. Too much angle, has to check up again. But Reese doing a good job up in the lead there, not quite getting all the way into that third outside zone. Gives Ditis a chance to sneak up on the side of that JZX, and you can see that transition that Ditis uses there to surge forward to get to the door of the JZX of Ryan Reese to finish out the run. Going to switch him around here and give Ditis a chance to lead and Ryan Reese a chance to chase. Reese, a super aggressive chase driver, and Ditis laying down amazing lead runs here.
Through the chicane, Ditis makes it to the 3-2-1 cone and initiates. Reese a little bit shallow on initiation, able to get right up to the door of Ditis BMW. Into outside zone 2. Oh, real wide for Ditis. Makes a little bit of contact with the K-rail. Able to keep the car at angle. Does not get sucked in. Really good job from Ditis there as Reese with a lot of trust. Ditis continues throwing down an awesome lead here for Reese to follow as Reese comes up just a little bit shallow on the line through that final outside zone.
Yeah, and you heard a pivotal word there from Ben on that commentary of the word trust. To be a chase driver and to chase on a layout like this where the punishment for a mistake is so high, and for Ditis here to go wide into the second outside zone and Reese to have the confidence to just stay in it and stick to the side of the E90 all the way through. Checks up a little bit there just to give Ditis the room to transition into outside 3 as they come now past this inside clip. Reese going to do that same kind of transition that Ditis did in the chase, but it sets him up a little bit short. And you can see the left foot brake there in the lead just to keep the car settled all the way through that final outside zone.
Dion just talked about it here right before this battle, talking about the walls out at Big Indian. These K-rails, they can separate if you get some contact on them, create a bit of a ledge between the two K-rails. So quite a bit of cost playing hide and go seek here with the K-rails in the layout. Is if that moves, could be very bad, maybe even totaling level damage to the car, even though it doesn't look like it. So really, really good job for Ryan Reese, trusting in Steve Ditis. As we await, we see the Misfits banner up behind supporting driver Ryan Reese. Make sure that you stop on over to the YouTubes at Lake Erie Speedway, at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, never miss any of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series action. This is our 4th and final championship round for the year. So unfortunately, if this is the first one that you're joining us for, you're a minute too late, but we'll be right back after it here in 2025 with the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. If you're a driver and this looks appealing to you, who knows, you might even be running up against Dion Dawkins in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Not going to hold Dion to it, but boy, it sure would be cool to say, hey, I just beat an NFL player in competition drifting. So don't hear that very often. So in your drifting endeavor, is there any other guys, maybe other Bills players or just, your homies from back home, stuff like that are like, man, this is sweet that I've been out to the track, want to get involved with Schno Motorsports or drifting?
Yes, bro. So I literally been pulling guys every day. I go in the locker room and I'm like, Josh, you got to come out. Keon, you got to come out.
Decision is in. One more time battle between Ryan Reese and Steven Ditis. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good. But yeah, like Jamarcus. Honestly, Jamarcus. I'm trying to get Jamarcus to be like one of my first official drivers. I think that it would be cool to sign one of my teammates, and but I'm gonna get Josh in a drift car. Josh is a ripper. Josh is a riot, and he's freakishly athletic and he's a go-getter. But I think that Josh is gonna be one of the best when I get him out there.
Starter Brian Riker getting the boys hyped up. This very well could be a battle for the win, but it isn't. Troy Manners in front of Mike Samson. Manners does a great job through outside zone number 1 into outside zone number 2. Mike Samson absolutely applying the pressure as Manners sticks the skinny pedal to the floor, laying down the smoke screen on Mike Samson into the second inner clip. Samson giving that LS-powered E30 everything it's worth to keep pasted to the JZ-powered S chassis of Manners.
And you can see here on the replay, Troy initiating early and just laying it down. The smoke that comes off the back of this S14 is absolutely insane. And Troy, absolutely one of the best lead drivers, one of the best chase drivers. And Samson, super aggressive. You can see here, not letting Troy get away anywhere in that E30. It's absolutely fantastic on both sides. Coming into this final outside zone, you're going to see Troy just lay down the smoke line. Samson sitting in the pocket, maybe a one-car gap there. Switch him around. Samson going to get a chance to lead. Troy, one of the best chase drivers probably in existence here. I'm super eager to see this.
Yeah, I was just going to say, these guys are no strangers to one another. They've seen each other in competition before, and Manners knows what Mike Samson is capable of. So this one's going to be exciting. Buckle up, everybody. Mike Samson in front of Troy Manners. Manners initiates right to the door of that LS-powered E30 of Mike Samson to the first inner clip. Samson pulls a little bit of a gap into outside zone 2. Troy's going to cut the line a little bit. Oh, a little bit of contact between Manners and Samson. Didn't look like there was anything funny to cause it, just aggressive driving from Manners in the chase position as Samson continues throwing down an awesome lead run and starts to pull a gap on Troy Manners. Really, really high-level driving for both of these drivers.
Yeah, I've got to say that has to be one of the best battles we've seen so far this weekend. And Mike Samson, good initiation there, a little bit of left foot brake just to get the car to rotate. Troy, though, absolutely stuck to the side of the E30 all the way through the first zone, past that inner clip, and you can see that nice early transition there from Manners to let him get right next to Samson. And you can see that little bump there. Doesn't seem to upset either one of the cars, just letting Samson know that he is there and he's not going anywhere for the entirety of this run. Now into this last outside zone, Samson manages to pull a good 2 or 3 car gap there to get into the zone, but you can see Troy in the chase absolutely laying it down, trying to pull him back in, and he does. By the end of that zone, maybe a 1 car gap between the two.
So you heard it as we take a look on the live stream at the side-by-side. Dion Dawkins says Josh Allen would be an absolute ripper in a drift car. So, I mean, I'm not telling you to get your hopes up, but I think Dion thinks he can do it. So maybe Dion will be able to get Josh over to the drift pit, and then maybe that'll bring Josh over to the Speedway someday.
And this is one of those sports where, you know, you talk about it at work, you talk about it with your friends, and you get all the questions when you come back of the did you win? You're like, I'm just here to have a good time. I wasn't competing, I was just driving. But now what always happens is you do finally get to pull one of your buddies out here and you put them in a car and take them for a ride, and then they're hooked. And before you know it, you have 190 drivers coming out to party for a weekend. It's absolutely fantastic.
I've got a good one. You ever go into the locker room and have a video of you drifting that you think's really cool, and you're like, guys, check this out. And they you know, and they're like, you can just tell they're like, okay, you know. Or has anybody ever asked you in the locker room or, you know, whatever, how did your race go this weekend?
No. Nope, they all think it's super cool, just like that. Yeah, bro, like I definitely pull out the videos. I pull out the clips on the Instagram, and I show them. The crazy thing is they always ask, like, is it safe? That is what comes up all of the time. And I say, bro, honestly, I think that this is one of the safer things that you can be doing. Like, you have a roll cage, you have a helmet, you could put a fire suit on, you have a fuel line, you have a fire extinguisher, you have tools. You know, in a regular car, like you're driving 80 miles an hour, 90 down the highway, and you can clip granny, like, you know, or 75, right? Like,
Yeah, Dion's a law-abiding citizen.
but like this is safer, man. This is more safer. Like, you have equipment on, and I think that this is the better way to get that thrill. 75.
75. Well, it's really valid. I mean, you talked about being a part of the Andretti's team, so, you know, certainly quite a bit lower speeds than what those guys are going through. I'm a big race guy. I consume every bit of motorsports that you could imagine, you know. I listen to the podcast that Colton Hurd is on, really knowledgeable guy. Like you mentioned, you know, I daydream about, you know, being able to be in those guys' positions, just traveling. They get to meet all the cool drivers, see all the coolest tracks all over the country. Decision comes in, and a big one. Mike Samson advances over Troy Manners. But so, really valid point there on the safety side of things, you know. It's not that we're going slow, but we're not doing what, you know, NASCAR's doing or IndyCar's doing or F1's doing. So, you know, and these cars are built up that way. As we get ready to see the one more time battle between Ryan Reese and Steven Ditis.
And you can see him there on the line. Ryan Reese going to take the lead here on the first half of this battle in front of Steven Ditis. The lights are on, the lights are off, and they have left the line. Ryan Reese, good initiation here, right on that 1-2-3 cone where he needs to be. Ditis a little bit of a wavering there in the chase, just trying to get the car to settle behind the JZX. Sneaking up now, really good transition there into outside two. Ditis puts it into the wall, just a little bump, but he maintains and deals with it well. Ryan Reese getting into that third outside zone a little bit late. Ditis not letting it phase him, though, as they come down to this outside zone to finish out the run. You can see the smoke just pouring off the back of the JZX. Maybe a 2.5 car gap there to finish out that run, and Ryan Reese going to maintain that gap all the way through. Ditis not quite able to reel him back in.
Yeah, we know Ryan's car is definitely spicy, but almost wonder if they turned it up a notch here for the second leg of this one. This thing was really pouring smoke off the back tires here throughout the run. You can see here through outside zone number 2, gets back to the pedal. Outside 3, now you're going to start to see the smoke screen come on into the second inner clip, and then able to pull a pretty good advantage once he gets back on throttle in this final outer zone. So can't say for certain, but maybe a little bit more juice to squeeze here for Ryan Reese.
All right, and the boys are going to switch places here. Ditis going to get a chance to answer back in that lead. Ryan Reese not really sure there's no advantage to be had here, so he's going to have to be super aggressive here on this chase. Initiation, Ditis a full 2 tires off there, but reels it back in by the end of that zone. And you can see Reese knocks over that inside clip as they come now to outside 2. Ditis doing a great job in the lead, maintaining all of that second outside zone. Good transition from both drivers into the third outside zone. Reese right at the door of that E90 all the way through. Ditis, great job on that second inner clip now, and you can see the smoke on that E90 just pouring off. Reese right to the side of him all the way through. Absolutely great job there from both guys to finish out that run.
Take a look at the replay here. Ditis maybe even 3, almost, maybe 3 off on initiation there. As we saw in Ditis one more time battles with Gillespie earlier, things get more and more tooth and nail as these one more time battles progress. We see Ryan Reese spitting fireballs out the exhaust of that JZX in the chase position, absolutely applying the pressure to the front wheel of Ditis on the way out of that final zone. Decision is in. Ryan Reese will advance, which will get us set for Fred Maybach versus Ryan Reese to set who will go up against Mike Samson for the overall win of round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. We're going to take a quick break and take a word from our sponsors. Grab something to drink, grab something to eat, use the restroom, and we will see you back here in just a minute.
Safety, comfort, and value is what we deliver with premium motorsports apparel from Velocita USA. We're here for you, the diehard blood, sweat, and tears race teams, putting on a show today. For your next fire suit, helmet, racing shoes, or gloves, give Velocita a call at 336-764-8502 or shop online at velocita-usa.com. And remember, drive fast and take chances.
Which dealership was named Best Certified Pre-Owned Program by IntelliChoice? Dave Holman Hyundai. And that has everything to do about the quality and reliability of our certified used vehicles. More newer models with less mileage. Plus our 173-point inspection, free Carfax, Sirius XM, and more. Plus great warranty coverage. Hyundai Certified Used Vehicle Powertrain Limited Warranty. 10-year, 100,000 miles. That's up to 4 years longer than the other brands. And the balance of the original 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Get to Dave Holman Hyundai.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here. I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushkin. I'm Matt Field. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver.
Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it. Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
Thanks for coming back to beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania to Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste. Again, Ben Bruno in the booth with Dion Dawkins and Zach Snyder and our teammate Brian O'Connor. He's been kind of quiet over there. I think he's just enjoying the moment, hanging out up in the booth with no microphone. But take a look and see if we got any comments, questions for Dion. So they're offering you ride-alongs, Dion. I'll gladly take Dion Dawkins for a ride in my Coyote swapped E46 if he's down. Got people talking about.
We gotta get him in the Miata, Ben. Can I fit?
So that's a funny point. That's a funny point. I'm sure that you probably had to get or modify some seat brackets to really be comfortable in the car. So that's a funny thing there. You know, I was going to say you could go for a ride with me if you wanted to, but there is no way you're going to fit in the passenger seat of my car, dude. But yeah, so Dion Dawkins joining us here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. He's driving, having a good time, just vibing. If you weren't with us earlier, we talked about who Dion is, how Dion got where he is, and why he's here today.
Somebody wanted to know if he's going to be a pro.
So one of the questions that came in was, will Dion Dawkins be a pro drifter one day?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Pushing for it. It could be a problem of mine, but if I do things like I'm 100%. Like if there's a top tier of it, I want to be that, and I think that kind of reflects
life a little bit for me. You know, I don't just touch it just to touch it. I touch it to live it. I touch it to eat it. So I'm trying to fully digest this all the way.
So now to set who will face Mike Samson for the overall win of round number 4, Ryan Reese in the lead position with Fred Maybach in the chase position. They're through the chicane. Ryan Reese initiates Fred right to the back quarter of that JZX. First inner clip, big angle here from Ryan Reese into outside zone number 2. Nice and wide. Fred almost tagging the wall in the chase position, as Ryan's able to pull a car advantage into the second inner clip. Fred early transition to outside zone number 4, just not able to get the car to bite forward back to the door of the JZX of Ryan Reese.
And I want you guys watching to pay attention here on this second outside zone. Reese throws it in deep and then ends up falling out a little bit earlier. Watch how well Fred deals with this. You can see that initiation, beautiful there from Maybach in the chase, right on the corner of that JZX, and they come across this inside zone. Reese, all the angle to slow the car down. You can see here he jumps back on it and pulls out early, and Fred just stays in it all the way through, causes a little bit of a gap there, but Fred with that transition makes up for it coming into outside threes. You can see Reese just pouring the smoke out in front of him. Maybach unfazed there in the chase, maybe just doesn't have the drive here to reel Reese back in through this final outside zone. But, I mean, this was a battle that was set to be an absolute heater on both sides of it. Fred gets the chance to lead. He is one of the most confident, most consistent lead drivers here on the property this weekend. Really eager to see what happens with Reese being such an aggressive chase driver as well.
Two beautifully built cars, two really good drivers at the helm. Fred Maybach now in front of Ryan Reese. Into outside zone number 1, drops a tire. In outside zone number 1, Reese applying the pressure here into outside zone number 2. Fred really deep in outside zone number 2. Oh, he was gripping the steering wheel tight there. Oh, and again here in outside zone number 3. Ryan Reese basting it to the door of Fred's BMW to that final outside zone. JZX Spit and Fire, Lake Erie Speedway. Get on your feet and make some noise for Fred Maybach and Ryan Reese.
Yeah, and Fred there putting on a display of what is a picture-perfect lead run, and Ryan Reese taking full advantage there in chase, not letting an inch between the cars almost anywhere here on the track. And you can see Fred outside 1 to inside 1 to outside 2. Absolutely perfect transition. Sitting the E36 on those barriers all the way around outside 2 now into 3. Getting into that zone early and staying in it all the way through. Reese taking full advantage. 1 car gap, maybe half a car there to finish out the zone. As they come into the final outside zone, Fred gets in early and sits it on the white line. Reese, maybe half a car between them there to finish the runs. Getting a side-by-side look at these. Absolutely phenomenal driving from both guys here. I would not want to be a judge to try to make a decision against these two.
So we've seen both legs of this one. Dion, did you see anything that you feel like gives one of these guys a distinct advantage to go up against Mike Samson in the final?
How you gonna put me on the spot like that? How you gonna do me like that in front of these beautiful people? Man, honestly, I don't really know. Like, I think that the guy in the lead car, it was tight. It was good. He just felt like he was in rhythm. You know, like as a driver, like you can tell if somebody's fighting the car or somebody's with the car, and it just seemed like that the guy in the front was with his car, but the guy like that was trailing was also doing his job too. So you know, it was a double good on good.
And you can see there on that graphic that popped up on the screen, moving forward to that last battle is going to be Fred Maybach taking on Mike Samson to finish out. We will have a third place battle that's going to be Ryan Reese and Troy Manners to settle third and fourth. And we're going to give these guys a chance to go back and change some tires, get the cars cooled down, get reset so we can finish out this top 16.
So Dion's going to get back on the floor here, go get the car ready for when we get wrapped up with competition here so he can go shred some tires himself. Just a couple of things from Dion before he heads out.
Yeah, so big Indian, man, like, since I'm up here and since this is family, I just want to just give my grace to the drift world. Like, the drift world has opened their arms to me. Big Indian has opened up their arms to me, and I'm thankful. We have a team of guys that care. We have a team of guys that are pushing each other, and it's a beautiful thing when people work together well and they care and they're not too high or too low. Everybody's all equal, and that's the beautiful part about a successful thing, and for people to go in a direction with confidence. And Big Indian, that's what they do. And they've helped in a lot of different ways. They've helped a lot of people here. They've helped a lot of cars. They've helped in areas where you might not even see them helping, but they're helping. So, I salute, I tip my hat to Big Indian and everybody out here that's doing what they do. And forever, shred them tires, man. But Snow Motorsports, Big Indian, and, of course, Lake Erie Speedway. I appreciate y'all, and love is love. Go Bills.
Ask him how many 300 these hold.
Is that mic off? This poor row yelling. No. Okay. If you want to announce anything.
All right, so we got the microphone back. We got T-Bron, we got Brian O'Connor up here with us. So, Brian, how we feeling about the action so far here in this final round of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series? We're about set to watch this overall winning battle and third place seeding.
I'm feeling pretty good. I obviously have to freshen myself up on football lingo. Accidentally confused Pro Bowl football with Pro Bowler, I figured Dion looks like a very talented gentleman, so maybe he's a Pro Bowler, he's a pro football player, and a pro, what was the other one? What's the other thing he does? Cornhole. He's all around, Triple Crown. But, excuse my ignorance to that. I guess I got to really freshen up on that.
Rob, are we going to commercial now?
So taking a look at the bracket, you can see down the left side, Troy Manners walks his way through Adam Bergner, Vinny Capola, and then runs into a steel wall in Mike Samson that takes him down. Mike Samson does the same thing through the middle of the bracket, taking down Kevin Ferraro and then Andrew Shorkey. So not an easy road for either of these drivers to make it. And then you can see that's going to set up Troy Manners' Ryan Reese battle that we will be seeing next. And then on the right side of the bracket, Fred takes down Casey Rodriguez early in the bracket, then Xander Nappy, and then runs into Ryan Reese and takes the W. Ryan Reese took down Jordan Becker and Steve Ditis to get to that point, at which point Fred moves on. So get a little bit more insight here from one of our very own Great Lakes Pro-Am drivers, Taylor Braun. Just kind of elaborate on what it's like making your way through a bracket, competing at this level, and what it takes mentally and, all that good stuff.
Yeah, this series over the last couple of years has really grown. And, I mean, there's always been good drivers in this series, but it seems like, last year and especially this year, hi, how are you? It takes a lot. You got to make sure your car mechanically is 100% ready to rock at all times. And, drifting is the most abusive thing you could do to any automobile in any motorsport. You're just beating the snot out of these cars. And Fred has meticulously built that car over the years. And he is, I'm not going to say like a robot, but when Fred gets in a rhythm, he's just point and shoot, set it and forget it. He knows that car inside and out. And you've mentally got to be on your A game too. You come in here, you're having a, mechanical issues early in the weekend. It'll throw your whole vibe off. And I mean, to just put an absolute clinic on like Fred has today against this caliber of drivers, it just shows why Fred has the reputation Fred has. He's known as an absolute shredder. And even got to throw it to Mike Samson too. I mean, he's every round this season has showed up, car's ready to rock, puts in the work, and just drives the wheels off that little car. So this competition has been pretty amazing, pretty good this year.
Yeah, for certain. That's the thing. As the Pro-Am grows, the driver caliber that we see come in grows, as well as our homies are progressing through it too. So it's really been an honor to be a part of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, to be able to bring the coverage to you guys at home and get to see these guys progress, learn, come back, and be better every time. We talked about yesterday, Andrew Wilder, had a couple of tough rounds at the beginning of the year, able to get the ship turned back around and make his way into the top 16 here in round number 4. So, progression all over the place. I have done some grassroots compy stuff, and it's a really different mindset that it puts you in getting ready to do that. No matter how serious or not serious you feel it is, once the competitive oil gets broken out, it's infectious. So you really just want to push to be the best that you can be, and it's really frustrating. As Taylor had mentioned, there's a lot of time that goes into making sure that you have the right tool to do the job with, and being able to trust in the car and all that good stuff goes so far when it comes to getting into competition.
Yeah, and we've got a pretty wild final if you look at these cars. I mean, Mike Samson, a month ago, that exact same car in the exact same trim it's in right now, did the street car comp. I mean, Samson's car is registered, plated, insured, street car. And he's out here, taking it to some of these, not to throw shade at anybody, but some of these trailer queen, purpose-built race cars. Yeah, and Fred too. His car is titled, registered, insured, street car. I mean, it's it's just impressive. What the right driver with the right tool can do.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see, who else will get into drifting, right? We got Dion Dawkins here this weekend. Like he was saying, got to thank the big Indian guys for, leaving that door open for somebody like him to get into the sport, and then, even furthermore to say, hey, you got to jump over to Lake Erie Speedway with us and check this out. Obviously, unless you live under a rock, T-Pain is big into drifting now with Nappy Boy Automotive and all that good stuff. So, drifting's on the rise, and we'll see. Dion said Josh Allen would be a ripper in a drift car, and like I said, I wouldn't hold Dion accountable to, oh my gosh, Josh Allen will be at Lake Erie Speedway one day. That might never happen, but
it might.
We certainly hope so, because it'd be really cool too.
I want to give a quick shout out to T-Pain, his new album, Under the Covers. Absolute banger, banger after banger. Everybody check out T-Pain's new album, Under the Covers.
Well, there you go. T-Bron with the plug for T-Pain. That means T-Pain has to come to Lake Erie Speedway now, innately, and put on a big concert for us. Just kidding. T-Pain, if you're listening to this, which I doubt you are, but I hope you are, you should definitely come out here because it's a riot. Bring everybody out with you. It's a good time. Some of the best drifting in the entire country, that's for sure. With the diversity that the Speedway has to offer, with how many different kinds of layouts we can run, you know. And to be honest with you, for the good flow of the weekend, I don't even think that we've really tapped into some of the crazy stuff that we could lay out on this track just because of how many drivers come to a Matt's Erie weekend and what happens in grid, you know. There's only so much that you can do with the layout to be able to have a smooth running grid. So the possibilities are endless. Let's take a quick second. Make sure that you pop on over there as we're taking a look at on the live stream and on Racing America. The social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Lake Erie Speedway. Go ahead over, follow, and you will see all the sweet content that comes out of a Matt's Erie weekend. Also, as you saw there, jump on over to the YouTube and follow at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series and at Lake Erie Speedway. Hit the notifications bell. You'll never miss out on any of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series action. If you would like to be a marketing partner here at the Speedway or the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, make sure that you go ahead and slide on over. We'd love to have you. We've got all kinds of options for you to make that affordable and doable for you. As you know, big live streams, big amount of drivers and crowd for the Matt's Erie weekends. Plenty of eyes for your company to fall on. And, of course, the drivers always love company support.
So it looks like we've got Fred and Mike Samson lining up here. Looks like we're going to shake this thing out and get a winner here shortly. I think it's going to be a pretty crazy battle, two absolute shredders. You know they're both going to just swing for the fences. They're both going to be on full kill. I mean, these guys are going to put it on each other's door. I mean, there's probably going to be some beating and banging and pushing around. This is going to shape up to be pretty rowdy.
Absolutely. You know, Samps obviously does a killer job round after round here with us. Fred, after taking the year off, getting back into the swing of things in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And Fred has been no slouch in the past here with the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Mike Samson in front of Fred Maybach. This is for the overall win of round number 4. Who's taking home the marbles, Mike Samson or Fred Maybach? Samson initiates into outside zone 1, nearly taking down the 3-2-1 cones as Fred applies the pressure into the first inner clip. Fred nearly knocking bumpers with the E30 and Mike Samson. Samson able to pull a car gap between him and Maybach, but Maybach surges into outside zone number 3 to the inner clip. Samson doing a killer job in the lead as Fred trying to get back to the door of the E30 of Samson, and probably a mechanical failure, it looks like, for Fred Maybach, shutting it down in the last outside zone.
Oh my goodness, what have I done? I've jinxed him. Oh no. It's all gone wrong. The script is off. Nobody knows what's happening now.
Something in the front end, it looks like, for Fred, potentially.
Yeah, it really seemed like in the chase there, Fred's car may have just had a power failure, shut itself down as they came into that final outside zone. And I mean, what an unfortunate series of events here. This was shaping up to be a battle for the ages here. These guys, no strangers to each other, both super aggressive on both sides of lead and chase, and you just never want to see this happen to a guy, this, especially not this late in a bracket. I mean, if you go out top 32, it's kind of a no harm, no foul. You didn't have to abuse the car too much, but to make it all the way to the final two and just have something, probably something silly to be honest, go wrong and just take you out.
Now, I want to mention, if you're watching the live stream, this is the attitude that you got to have here. You can see Fred and Alex talking about what's going on down there, but Fred's got a smile on his face. You know, I just talked about how it gets ramped up when you get into competition, and the best approach to it is just to continue to have fun. And really glad to see that Fred's got a big smile on his face down there having fun in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
All right, we're going to get a chance to take a look at this replay here, and you can see Fred putting on all the pressure for Mike Samson there in the chase, and Mike putting down an absolutely phenomenal lead run, getting into all the zones. Fred seemingly unwavering in the chase, doing a great job there all the way through this into outside zone number 3. Nothing seemingly going wrong there with Fred's car up until this point, and then you can see a little bit of left foot brake, and the car just shuts down. It looked like total loss of power there for Maybach in the chase.
Yeah, we'll see. Fred will get it towed off the track here. I would imagine probably call his 5-minute comp, see if it's, something simple, I mean, it could be something as simple as a battery terminal or a wire, a main power disconnect or something. And I'd really like to see the second half of that battle, because that was shaping up to be an absolute barn burner, folks.
So again, the overall winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will be taking home their Formula Drift Pro Spec license here today, along with a free fire suit from Velocita valued at $800, plus a bunch of money from the points fund and all that good stuff, and the overall round winning money. Also, certificates from Distinct Drift for Vitor tires and Contingency Connection. Coupon booklets valued up to $4,000 going home with these guys, I believe all top 3. And Hawk Performance also doing certificates for Hawk brakes, I believe. So huge thank you to Hawk, Contingency Connection, Distinct Drift, Link ECU, Formula Drift, everybody that makes this possible and supports our drivers over here.
All right, we have confirmation now. Maybach is going to take his 5 minutes and see if he can get that car back running so he can come back out and put on the second half of that battle. And I really hope he does, because knowing that he's at a disadvantage now, he's going to lay down a heater of a lead run.
Oh, yeah, he's going to go full kill, 11/10s. He's, swing for the fences, whatever other sports analogy you can think of. He's going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at it.
Couple of quick shout outs here. Happy 13th birthday to Brittany. Happy birthday, Brittany. And also, happy birthday, Mitchell Smith. So a couple of birthdays here at the track this weekend. Make sure you go over and give them their birthday smaggins. As we take a look at the beautiful property here at Lake Erie Speedway, you can see the buses from Crashorama. We figure 8 race buses here for Crashorama. It's an absolute riot as they get ever so close to hitting each other in the middle of the X. Over 180 drivers here this weekend for Fall Mats Erie. And a couple more of them up here in the booth with me, Taylor Braun, Zach, and Brian, and all of our judges too. Don't forget about C-Class, Scott Petty.
I also want to give a quick shout out to the Speedway and AJ, the track manager. You know, you guys are getting a good bird's eye view of the whole, you know, kind of property and everything we have here. I've been to, you know, quite a few other tracks, and we're spoiled here. I mean, they let us come out here and be absolute degenerates at a world-class facility. I mean, it is, truly remarkable, this place, and the fact that we're allowed to just come here and do this, it's incredible.
And you can see off here in the horizon. That's why I always say beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania. We're in wine country here, so rolling fields. There's not too many vineyards right here around the corner from the Speedway, but right down the street, full of vineyards and wineries that you can stop on by. So if you're planning on coming to a Mats Erie weekend in the future, drop the kids off at the in-laws, bring your wife with you. You can have the best of both worlds. Run down the street, take your wife to the wineries, and call it a little vacation, if you will.
Yeah, also shout out Propped Productions here doing the production for the live stream. I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, the side-by-sides, the replays, all the camera angles, these guys kill it every event. And it doesn't get talked about enough. They are awesome, giving us a phenomenal live stream. And, it's great.
Yeah, there's not enough can be said on that side of things. I mean, to get this level of production quality and value from a Pro-Am series that, I mean, is as weird as it is, there's 32 drivers in the Pro-Am series, which is a whole thing. It's absolutely phenomenal for these guys to be able to come out. But this weekend in general, as Taylor was saying earlier, for anybody just getting into drifting, I mean, there is everybody from, I know there was a guy who I teched his car, it's his first event, all the way up through, 10-year, 12-year veterans who are running Pro-Am, even guys who are just here that, there are some serious cars that are not running in Pro-Am. They're just here to have a good time. And it's a crazy spectrum of everything you can imagine. There's a Ford Ranger in the pits, and there's Corvettes, there's BMWs, there's every series of vehicle you can think. There's Crown Vics that come out and run. Like, go out, buy a rear-wheel drive car, buy a ticket, come out, and just give it a shot. If you haven't driven, you have no interest in driving, come out, bring a helmet, just talk to people, walk around the pits. The pits are open to spectators. You can come hang out, you can have conversations, and I'm sure a couple of questions here and there will get you at least into the passenger seat of a car so you can at least experience this. It is an absolutely insane thing that, you could be day 2 and having the best time of your life. You could be 10 years in running tandems with the boys and seeing, what you're capable of. It's an amazing thing.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if I care if you like drifting or not. You got to be out here to taste Taylor's burn-end bologna, dog. It is crazy.
Yeah, we're the Team Limp Brisket Drift. It's more than a clever name and a play on words. We're very much meat first, drifting second. Big meat guys over at Limp Brisket. Yeah, we've got a couple signature dishes that we sling out at night, and it makes the rounds. It's got a bit of a reputation.
And you can see there coming out on track, Fred Maybach gets the E36 back under its own power. So we are going to get a second half of this battle, and I am so pumped to see this go down.
Absolutely. Mike Samson, as you had mentioned earlier in the broadcast, one of the most aggressive chase drivers in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, and he's got a win for round number 4 labeled here in front of him. Let's see what he does with it here in the chase. Fred able to right the wrongs in his 5-minute competition timeout. So Fred Maybach out in front of Mike Samson here for the final leg of the overall winning battle. We do have one more battle. Maybach initiates into outside zone number 1. Samson in tow, playing it a little bit safe through outside zone number 1. Oh, Samson maybe a complete straight in there. Oh, and
looks like Fred's car cut out again.
Yep, Fred probably having the same problem, loses power there, nearly contact. Good job for Sams to avoid that, but
yeah, great situational awareness and accident wins by Sams there. I mean, he, it can get pretty hairy. You're on throttle trying to, run somebody's door like that. That was expert driving.
I mean, this could be a double incomplete here on both sides of it with Fred in the chase position, shutting it down in that last outer zone, and then Sams, I think, may have incompleted here at the first inner clip, straightening there. So really interesting turn of events here. Obviously, Fred doesn't have a competition timeout left to fix the car, but really makes things hairy here, trying to get a winner for round number 4.
And I know Sams, he's probably almost just as bummed as Fred, because I know Mike wants to run him clean, and we're all friends here, and I'm sure Sams is just as bummed that he wasn't able to kind of complete that battle out and really duke it out to the end.
My apologies. I had mentioned that there was one more battle for that 3rd and 4th place spot, but there will not be because Ryan Reese has broken. So we'll see what happens here. As I had mentioned there, Fred just used his comp timeout, so not sure what will happen there or what we really look at, like if Taylor had mentioned this isn't the way that Samps wants to get the win either. Now, let's say Samps does something funny where he uses his comp timeout to try to give Fred the time. I do not believe Fred could make any kind of change to the car. I'm not 100% certain. Okay, so coming down from the judges, there is a deciding factor to that battle there between Fred and Samps. Obviously, not the way that either of those guys would like to see it go. We're getting everything staged up to announce your winners, so just give us one moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is never the way that you want to see like a final happen in motorsport. But like we were saying earlier, I mean, this sport is crazy abusive on cars. You can spend all of your time and all your money making everything perfect, and then one simple little failure can ruin your entire weekend. Or, I mean, it happens. That's motorsport. I mean, you might wreck turn 1, you might make it to the end. It just, you never really know.
Yeah, it's a roll of the dice. I mean, and the torture they put these cars through. I mean, it's a monumental task in and of itself to stay on top of these things, keep them running, especially when you're, competing at a Pro-Am level. Like, you don't want to go out and have a 10-cent part cost you the weekend, so just the labor these guys put in to just make sure our cars are, where they need to be, dependable, all that. It's just heartbreaking when something like that happens.
Coming home in 3rd place in round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is Troy Manners. Your second place finisher in round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is Fred Maybach. And your winner of round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is Mike Samson. Your overall champion of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series for 2024, taking home his Pro Spec license and a fire suit from Velocita, plus the number 1 points fund money, is Troy Manners. Troy Manners, your 2024 Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, Lake Erie Speedway. Put your hands together for Troy Manners and all the competitors of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Again, all 3 of these guys taking home contingency connection coupon books valued at $4,000. Also, these guys will be taking home certificates from Hawk Performance, as well as certificates for Vitor tires from Distinct Drift. All these wonderful companies that make the Pro-Am Series go here at Lake Erie Speedway. If you're with us on the live stream, make sure you stay tuned as we should be seeing some burners here. I don't think Fred will be able to participate, but you know, Samson, Troy will definitely throw down some solid heaters here for you guys, especially for Troy after taking home the number 1 spot in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
And that's a shame, too, because I've never known Fred to half-ass a burnout in his life. So, you know, you can always count on Fred for doing an absolute heater. Also want to give a quick shout out to our teammate Dan Pacella, his lovely, lovely wife Adriana Pacella. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Adriana.
All right, we're going to let these guys get set up to do their burnouts, as is tradition, to round out a Great Lakes Pro-Am event.
Any machine's a smoke machine if you operate it wrong enough.
That's going to wrap up Great Lakes Pro-Am Series action for 2024. It was an absolute thriller of a season. Troy Manners takes home the number 1 spot in his Pro Spec license. For the final sign-off, this time for quite a few of us, Dion Dawkins, Brian O'Connor, Zach Snyder, everybody, Taylor Braun, the whole production team. We'll see you guys right back here at Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste, for Great Lakes Pro-Am 2025.